So, welcome everyone, and back for our semi-weekly meditation. And I really have some good news for a change. Sometimes good things do happen. And yesterday, friends called me and let me know that Native American activist Leonard Peltier was pardoned by President Biden as a good thing to do. He'd been locked up for 40 years now or something like that. And to celebrate that, I want to read you the lyrics of a song I wrote back in 92. And the song wrote itself very easily, like it wanted to be written. And it really opened a lot of doors to me in the Native American communities because they felt like I got them. And they were very kind and very open to me. And through that, I became friends with um, Wallace Black Elk and the very important figure in my life, and on and on. It's an important time for me. I was very busted up and broken, and I was very blessed by the connections with the Native Americans. So anyway, this is called "Song for Leonard," and I mean, anyway, I think the song's lyrics will explain the story. It's pretty accurate, exactly what happened. So let her rip. So Spirit helped me to do this well. Song for Leonard. The year was 1975. It was a hard year to be alive if you were Lakota Sioux. But for them folks, that ain't nothing new. On the morning of June 26th, I'm told 3 men were living that wouldn't grow old. White man was walking on Indian land. Things got ugly, got out of hand. There was fire in the Badlands, fire in the hills. Lead started flying and people got killed. When the shooting stopped, 3 men lay dead. One was an Indian and 2 were feds. The killing that happened there in 75 was just the latest in a 500-year fight where honor was nothing and might was right. And if your skin was red, they wanted you dead. It was a sacred word of these United States. We promised that land to the Sioux in 1868 for their absolute and undisputed use. Then a few years later, we sent in the troops. Before that generation even got old, white man was back. He was lusting for gold. When the government gets hungry, it's got to feed. They had themselves a feast there at Wounded Knee. There was fire in the Badlands, fire in the hills. Lead started flying. People got killed. When the shooting stopped, 3 men lay dead. One was an Indian and 2 were feds. One more dead Indian. Nobody cry. But you'd better not mess with the FBI. Justice needed a victim. They weren't going to fail. So that Indian Leonard Peltier, he went to jail. The trial at best could be called a ruse. Leonard got the due process Nazis gave Jews. Like Pontius Pilate, the judge washed his hands. It was white man's justice in a red man's land. The only witness against him was a woman who couldn't read, forced to sign a written statement. It was all they'd need. They wouldn't let her testify that it was all a lie. They just thanked her for her help and kissed her goodbye. There was fire in the Badlands, fire in the hills. Lead started flying. People got killed. When the shooting stopped, 3 men lay dead. One was an Indian and 2 were feds. For 20-something years, I should say 40-something years, Leonard has been locked away. Justice is blind for that Indian brave. I guess the powers that be want us to know, if you stand in their way, boy, you got to go. But the spirit of Crazy Horse lives in the wind, in the songs of his people, in the hearts of free men. Now that spirit lives on in the federal pen. I hope. So we're doing Profound Meditation 3.0, Epsilon, track one. It's only 20 minutes. So why don't we focus in this meditation on gratitude? Okay. That for all the things that there are to give gratitude for, and thank the Great Spirit that Leonard's finally free. A man locked away as a political statement prisoner for something he didn't do. And so good things do happen and in dark times. So let us be grateful and start this meditation, and we'll see you on the other side. God bless. Thank you. Well, welcome back. And I hope you were able to experience gratitude in that uh, meditation, in that silent prayer time. And in my practice at this point, prayer and meditation is kind of the same thing. And I'll leave it to you guys to figure out how that works for you. But anyway, um, and I recalled in the meditation some of the things that I learned from the Indian people, the Native Americans. And I say Indian with great respect, but that's what how they speak about themselves. Didn't say the Native American movement. They said American Indian movement. Anyway, um, and my time with Wallace Bracco, and I was really broken up at the time. Some really hard things had happened in my life, and I got the job of just kind of being and escorting him when he was uh, on the West Coast, Northern California, principally, and he was there a lot. So I would carry bags and make sure he got checked in and drive him around and go shopping with him and spend all this time with the guy. And he would just download on me. It was really, really a blessing. And he was also a medicine guy, great authority. And he would also come down pretty hard when people were straying from what they call the good red path. And I was just waiting to get whacked because I wasn't sure I was messed up. And I think he realized that, and he was always very, very kind to me. So I really appreciate that about Wallace. Thank you. I needed kindness at that point, not rebukes. And one of the things, the lessons I took away from that, and this is principally from Lakota, the Sioux, and I also had a good friend who was a medicine man, who was Derwin White Lightning, and he was Dakota. And so I'd introduce him as Lakota. It was what I was used to, and he'd say, Dakota, John, which is north. And it's complicated for an outsider, but anyway, finally got it right. But what I really impressed me and still impresses me and by the way, they didn't need white people or brown people or any other kind of people to come and teach them about monotheism. They had it down pretty good, centuries, God knows how long, but they knew about the Great Spirit that moved through all things, Wakantanka, the great mystery. And so, you know, they had a very, very a beautiful tradition of their own, which we um, can borrow from and learn from as we are in this worldwide culture where we can, kind of bring together the best of all the different spiritual traditions. And one of the things I loved about that tradition, they would greet each other and they say goodbye and they pray. They said metaquiescent, which means to all my relations, to all my relations. And that is good to remember because when life gets too hard and, the suicide rates are up, depression is big, we often feel isolated and like we're not connected. And when you remember all my relations, you remember, oh, okay, all my human family, all my brothers and sisters, all God's creatures, I'm connected to all that. And that is you really get that's a very holy experience. And it puts meaning and purpose in your life. And in the tradition, in the traditional ceremonies of the Lakota, it was like you had to put yourself on the line. Whether it was Sweat Lodge, Sundance, Vision Quest, your Weepy ceremonies, and a couple of others. It was like you really sacrifice your own comfort and ask for courage to go through these ceremonies that got you closer to the Great Spirit and closer to your people. And I think it's good to remember that when we're doing our practice, we are meditating, that we're not alone. And it's not just about, working on your stress or your issues or finding your path, which is all well and good, but it's for all your relations. And as you begin to experience what that really means at the deeper levels, it is, again, very holy. And I'll finish with this. During in the Vision Quest and in different ceremonies. I'm not sure this is a translation, but one of the guiding prayers was, Great Spirit, have pity on me that my people may live. Think about that. Feel that. Great Spirit, have pity on me that my people may live. So it's a good prayer prior to meditation. Just, Great Spirit, help me to get through this, so that I can be of service to my people. And that's the dog people, the bird people, the worm people, the bird people. I mean, all these are all peoples in the Lakota, the native worldview. They're all people, and they all have value, and they're all an expression of the great sacred mystery. So remember, when we're doing this, we're not just doing it for ourselves. And sometimes we go through periods where we feel very isolated and very alone. It's referred to in the Christian tradition as a dark night of the soul. But remember, that's just a passage from darkness into light, and we can't get lost there. So at this time, I will say, Great Spirit, have pity on us that our people may live. Mitakuyesu.